The Karaka Samhita, India's 2,000-year-old medical codex, didn't describe digestive health in vague terms. It named specific drinks, specific preparations, and specific dosing. And modern gastroenterology is only now catching up. The civilization that cracked open the gut's secrets was not a pharmaceutical lab, it was a kitchen. The Karaka Samhita and the Ashtanga Hridaya were not spiritual journals. They were precision medical documents, written centuries before the first Western physician ever described the stomach. Chinese healers had already categorized tea as therapeutic 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. The $50 billion gut health supplement industry that dominates modern pharmacy shelves is not a breakthrough. It is a rediscovery. The West calls them functional beverages. Ancient civilizations called them daily medicine. We start with number 15, a drink Egyptian healers used for bloating 3,000 years ago, its active compound only recently identified by modern science. Number 7 contains a compound investigated across 109 randomized controlled trials, one that outperforms pharmaceutical options for nausea and gastric motility. And number 1? A 3,000-year-old formulation prescribed in 2 of the oldest medical texts ever written, studied in modern human trials for bowel regulation, gut inflammation, and microbiome repair. Here are 15 ancient drinks that naturally repair your digestive system, ranked from remarkable to absolutely miraculous. Number 15. Fennel seed tea, the pharaoh's carminative. Ancient Egyptian tombs document fennel as a digestive remedy. Ayurvedic tradition classifies it as cooling and carminative, specifically prescribed for the Pitta dosha, the fire constitution. Roman soldiers consumed fennel before battle, not for flavor, but for gut strength. Here's what history understood that the modern antacid industry does not. Modern antacids mask the symptom. Fennel seeds target the muscular spasm. The essential oils in fennel seeds, including anethole, have been traditionally linked to the relaxation of digestive muscle tissue, relief from gas, and the easing of cramping. Fennel was not seasoning in ancient Egypt. It was a stomach prescription. Brew 1 teaspoon of crushed fennel seeds in hot water for 10 minutes and drink it after meals. This was the forgotten pharmacy of the pharaohs, hiding in the spice drawer. And this was just the beginning. The next drink was prescribed in a medical text that predates every modern gastroenterology textbook by 2 millennia. Number 14. Lemongrass tea, the forgotten citral secret. Ancient Chinese pharmacopoeias documented lemongrass as a remedy for bloating and constipation. Lemongrass was not selected for its tropical scent. It was selected for a compound modern science has now identified, citral. Citral carries anti-inflammatory properties relevant to the digestive tract. It is also caffeine-free, making it an ideal post-dinner beverage that does not interfere with the digestive process the way stimulants do. Processed digestive supplements line every pharmacy shelf. Lemongrass tea costs pennies and has been documented across centuries of traditional Chinese medicine. Steep 2 to 3 fresh lemongrass stalks, or 1 teaspoon dried, in hot water for 10 minutes and drink it after dinner. This is the ancient Chinese pharmacy hiding in plain sight. But ancient China didn't stop at lemongrass. The next drink connects 3 ancient spice roads: Egypt, India, and Mesopotamia. Number 13. Apple cider vinegar drink, the Pascha of the Roman legion. Roman soldiers drank Pascha, diluted wine vinegar, as a daily digestive tonic. It was not a luxury, it was a military standard. Ayurvedic medicine classified vinegar, called Vikankar, as a digestive stimulant with specific dosing protocols, 1 teaspoon to 1 tablespoon in warm water before meals. Ancient Persia had sekanjabin, a blend of vinegar, honey, and mint, consumed specifically for digestive benefit. 3 civilizations on 3 continents independently arrived at the same compound, acetic acid. Research suggests acetic acid supports stomach acidity, aids carbohydrate digestion, and may slow gastric emptying in ways that stabilize blood sugar. Modern proton pump inhibitors suppress stomach acid. Ancient healers were doing the opposite. They were optimizing it. Mix 1 tablespoon of raw apple cider vinegar in warm water and drink it before meals. This was the drink that fueled the Roman Empire's gut. Notice what is happening across these first 3 entries. These ancient cultures were not guessing, they were prescribing. And modern science is confirming their pharmacology, compound by compound. Number 12. Peppermint tea. The Egyptian menthol protocol. Ancient Egyptians documented peppermint as a digestive aid. Ayurveda traditionally combined it with licorice root for post-meal digestion. Ancient Egyptians did not grow peppermint for fresh breath, they grew it for the gut. The active compound is menthol. Menthol acts on smooth muscle, relaxing the digestive tract, reducing gut spasms, and easing the tension that creates bloating and cramping. Research has confirmed peppermint to be likely effective for irritable bowel syndrome. Pharmaceutical antispasmodics for IBS carry side effect profiles and require prescriptions. Menthol in peppermint tea targets the same physiological mechanism, naturally, affordably, and with a history stretching back to one of the oldest civilizations on Earth. Steep 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried peppermint leaves in hot water for 5 to 7 minutes and drink it after meals. This is the ancient gut calmer Egypt forgot to tell us about. We are only at number 12. Wait until you see what Ayurveda was doing with 3 spices at once. Number 11. CCFT, the Ayurvedic triple formula. Cumin, coriander, and fennel, 3 seeds brewed together into a single decoction. This formula, rooted in the Charaka Samhita era, around the 2nd century BC, was designed to balance all 3 doshas simultaneously. That was its genius. It was the only Ayurvedic digestive formula prescribed as a universal solution, one that worked regardless of body type. Cumin was documented in ancient Egyptian tombs and in biblical texts. Coriander was traded across ancient spice routes. Fennel, as we have already seen, was a pharaoh's prescription. Together, all 3 function as documented carminatives, agents that relieve gas and support digestive enzyme activity. Processed digestive enzyme supplements sell for significant sums. CCFT has been doing this work for 2,000 years for the price of 3 spices. Combine 1/4 teaspoon each of whole cumin, coriander, and fennel seeds. Boil them in 2 cups of water for 5 minutes. Strain and drink warm. This is the 3-spice code Ayurveda never classified as a secret because it was never meant to be one. Number 10. Licorice root tea, the healer of the ancient world's stomach. Ancient Greek medicine prescribed licorice root for digestive discomfort, stomach ulcers, and acid reflux. Ancient Egyptian herbalism documented it. Ayurveda used it. Traditional Chinese medicine referenced it. Licorice root is perhaps the most cross-civilizational medicinal plant in recorded history, and every major ancient pharmacopoeia prescribed it for the same organ. Its anti-inflammatory flavonoids have been traditionally associated with soothing the stomach lining, reducing the symptoms of acid reflux, and protecting the digestive mucosa. Antacids neutralize acid temporarily and leave the underlying tissue unchanged. Licorice root has been studied for what it may do to the mucosal lining itself. Brew 1 teaspoon of dried licorice root in hot water for 10 minutes. But note that prolonged high-dose use is not recommended, and a healthcare provider should be consulted for ongoing use. Drink it between meals. 3,000 years of cross-civilizational endorsement for one root. But number 9 was being poured in 4,000-year-old Chinese quartz for a reason that only modern polyphenol science finally explains. Number 9. Green tea, the emperor's microbiome formula. Chinese healers categorized tea as therapeutic 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. Tea's origins in ancient Chinese civilization trace back to approximately 2700 BC. It was not poured in the courts of Chinese emperors because it tasted pleasant. It was prescribed because it worked. The tea polyphenols, including catechins and EGCG, are broken down by gut bacteria in a process that simultaneously promotes the growth of beneficial bacterial populations and inhibits the growth of harmful ones. Modern research has produced good evidence for green tea's antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects on gut health. Polyphenols, it turns out, function as prebiotics, food for the bacteria already living inside you. Probiotic supplements sell gut bacteria at high cost. Green tea feeds the ecosystem that already exists at the cost of a cup. Steep 1 teaspoon of loose green tea in water at around 80 degrees Celsius, not boiling, for 2 to 3 minutes. Drink it before or between meals. This is the emperor's secret that 4,000 years of Chinese civilization kept in a cup. Green tea feeds what is already there. But what about a drink that rebuilds what has been destroyed? That story comes from the mountains between Europe and Asia. Number 8. Kvass, the Slavic gut rebuilder. Kvass is one of the oldest fermented non-alcoholic beverages in recorded history, a traditional drink of Eastern European, Slavic, and Russian communities made from fermented rye bread, water, and yeast. It was not consumed for pleasure. It was consumed because entire civilizations had observed, generation after generation, that it kept the gut stable. The fermentation process populates kvass with lactobacillus species, the same probiotic genus that modern science confirms supports gut health, boosts immune response, and improves digestive functionality. The lactic acid produced through fermentation creates an environment in the gut that favors beneficial bacteria. Modern kombucha receives all the cultural attention. Kvass has been doing this work quietly for 1,000 years. Consume 100 to 200 milliliters of traditional kvass as a digestive drink with meals, available in specialty stores or prepared traditionally from rye bread, water, and yeast. This is the forgotten ferment of Eastern Europe's digestive wisdom. Kvass quietly survived 1,000 years of culinary history. But number 7 didn't just survive. It was studied in 109 randomized controlled trials. Number 7. Ginger tea, the 400 BC gastric miracle. Chinese remedies documented ginger's medical use from 400 BC. Ayurveda prescribed it to ignite the digestive fire, what the Karaka Samhita era called Agni. Southeast Asian traditional medicine classified it as a primary digestive herb. Every major ancient medical system on Earth independently arrived at the same root, not because it was culturally convenient, but because it demonstrably worked. The active compounds are gingerols, shogols, and zingerone. A systematic review of 109 randomized controlled trials confirmed ginger's positive effects on gastric motility, gastric emptying, nausea, vomiting, and gastrointestinal inflammation. Gingerols modulate cholinergic M3 and serotonergic 5, HT3 and 5-HT4 receptors, the precise receptors that pharmaceutical prokinetics are engineered to target. Ginger tea targets them naturally, without a prescription, without side effects, and with a 2,400-year clinical record before a single laboratory existed. Boil 1 to 2 centimeters of fresh ginger root in 2 cups of water for 10 minutes. Drink it before meals. Up to 1,000 milligrams per day has been used in clinical settings. This is the ancient fire starter that 109 clinical trials could not ignore. If ginger tea is already in your kitchen, drop a comment below. If you have never made a proper ginger decoction before, stay with me. The method matters. 109 trials. That is not folk medicine. That is science confirming what 2,400 years of ancient healers already knew. But it gets stranger. Number 6 was not consumed for its taste. It was consumed for what it does inside the gut wall itself. Number 6. Aloe vera juice, the plant of immortality's gut protocol. Ancient Egyptians called aloe vera the plant of immortality. Traditional Indian medicine used it for constipation and colic. Chinese medicine referenced it for gut conditions from as early as the 1st century AD. Ancient Egyptians did not only apply aloe to wounds, they drank it. The internal protocol was the one they considered sacred. The active compounds include anthraquinones, specifically barbaloin, which converts in the intestine to alloamidine 9-anthrone, and polysaccharides including asimannan. A meta-analysis of 3 randomized controlled trials found that aloe vera significantly improved IBS symptom scores versus placebo. A 2004 double-blind placebo-controlled trial in ulcerative colitis patients found a 30% clinical remission rate in the aloe vera group versus 14% in the placebo group. Polysaccharides from aloe vera have been studied for their effects on intestinal tight junctions, the molecular seals between the cells lining the gut wall. Here is what no one tells you. The 2004 trial showed results comparable to some pharmaceutical interventions at a fraction of the cost and with no significant adverse events. The ancient Egyptians called it the plant of immortality. They may have been describing its relationship to the gut lining more literally than anyone realized. Consume 100 milliliters of pure inner leaf aloe vera gel juice, decolorized to remove aloin for safety, twice daily for short-term use, and consult a healthcare provider before ongoing use. This is the immortality plant that modern gastroenterology is finally reading correctly. Aloe vera seals the gut wall. But number 5 uses a mechanism that goes even deeper, engineering the delivery of its active compound for maximum gut impact, a system designed not in a laboratory, but in ancient India. Number 5, turmeric golden milk, the Ayurvedic gut fire protocol. Haldi doodh, turmeric in warm milk, is not a modern wellness trend. It is described in Ayurvedic texts. Turmeric is a foundational herb in Karaka Samhita era formulations for digestive inflammation. The Bhavaprakasha Nihantu, the classical Ayurvedic Materia Medica, documents turmeric's gut and digestive properties in precise terms. But what Ayurveda understood that modern supplement manufacturers are still catching up to is this: the preparation matters as much as the ingredient. The formula was not just turmeric, it was turmeric combined with fat from milk and heat, a delivery mechanism that dramatically enhances the bioavailability of curcumin, turmeric's primary active compound. Curcumin has documented anti-inflammatory effects on gut mucosa via the NF-kappa B signaling pathway. Adding black pepper, which Ayurvedic tradition includes, further enhances absorption through piperine. Curcumin capsule supplements are sold by the billions for gut inflammation. Ancient Ayurveda had already engineered the optimal delivery system 2,000 years ago and served it warm in a cup before bed. Warm 1 cup of milk. Add half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, a pinch of black pepper, and a small amount of honey. Drink it in the morning or before bed. This is the golden protocol that Ayurveda built to outsmart gut fire. Number 4 turns the gut's entire bacterial ecosystem into a living laboratory, and it has been doing it since the Silk Road. Number 4, kombucha, the living medicine of East Asia. Fermented tea with a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast, Ascobi, has been consumed across East Asia for centuries. Ancient brewers did not ferment this drink for flavor. They fermented it because the living culture transformed it into something the unfermented version was not. The active compounds in kombucha include acetic acid, gluconic acid, glucuronic acid, and phenolic compounds, with flavonoids making up approximately 81% of those phenolics. A systematic review of 8 clinical trials confirmed that kombucha consumption improves stool consistency and reduces the sensation of incomplete bowel evacuation. A 2024 randomized controlled trial showed that kombucha enriches populations of short-chain fatty acid-producing gut microbes, specifically Weizmannia coagulans. A 2025 trial confirmed increased bifidobacterium and decreased Ruminococcus torques following regular kombucha consumption. Probiotic supplements deliver isolated bacterial strains in capsules. Kombucha delivers a living community of multiple organisms, exactly as ancient brewers, whether they understood the microbiology or not, intended. Consume 100 to 250 milliliters of raw, unpasteurized kombucha daily with or before meals. Avoid it if you are immunocompromised. This is the living dynasty of bacteria that ancient Asia kept in a jar. And now, if you are noticing a pattern, you are right. These drinks, ginger, aloe, kombucha, the fermented tonics, the ancient decoctions, were known long before modern gut health culture rediscovered them. Every civilization that decoded the gut decoded fermentation and plant compounds, independently, across continents, across centuries. Modern science is not inventing new knowledge. It is verifying ancient pharmacology, one clinical trial at a time. Number 3. Bone broth, the Hippocratic gut sealer. Hippocrates, the father of Western medicine, reportedly prescribed broth for intestinal ailments. His directive, "Let food be thy medicine," was not abstract philosophy. It was a clinical instruction. Ancient Chinese, Middle Eastern, and South American healing traditions all independently developed bone broth as a gut recovery protocol. The active compounds are gelatin, collagen peptides, and glutamine. Glutamine is the primary fuel source of the intestinal epithelial cells, the cells that line the gut wall. It has been studied for its role in gut barrier integrity. Gelatin may coat the gut lining and support the environment the epithelial cells require to function. Direct human clinical trial evidence specifically on bone broth remains limited, and those benefits should be understood within that context. But the mechanistic rationale is grounded in established nutritional science. Gut lining supplements are packaged into $60 pill bottles. Hippocrates made this in a pot with bones and water. Simmer animal bones in water with a splash of apple cider vinegar for 12 to 24 hours. Consume 1 cup daily as a warm drink. This is the physician's prescription that modernity forgot to fill. Hippocrates used broth to seal the gut. Number 2 uses a living culture so potent that a randomized trial showed it reduces flatulence by up to 71% in people who had given up on finding anything that worked. Number 2. Kefir, the Caucasian mountain miracle. In the Caucasus Mountains, kefir grains were not bought or sold. They were given as gifts between families and guarded across generations. The people who first consumed kefir did not call it a probiotic. They called it a gift that kept them well. Kefir is made by introducing kefir grains, a complex symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeasts, into milk. The fermentation process produces a living drink containing multiple lactobacillus and bifidobacterium species, yeasts, and kefiron, an exopolysaccharide unique to kefir fermentation. A 2003 randomized study confirmed that kefir reduces flatulence by 54 to 71% compared to regular milk and measurably improves lactose tolerance. A comprehensive NCBI review identified kefir as the most well-evidenced fermented food, with randomized controlled trial support for both lactose malabsorption improvement and Helicobacter pylori eradication support. It contains diverse probiotic cultures across 30 or more microbial species. Single-strain probiotic capsules contain 1 or 2 bacterial species. Every sip of traditional kefir contains a living ecosystem of 30 or more. Consume 100 to 250 milliliters of plain kefir daily. Start with 1 tablespoon if you are new to fermented foods. Water kefir or coconut kefir is available for those avoiding dairy. This is the mountain gift that science took 2,000 years to catch up with. Kefir contains 30 species of live cultures in every sip. But number 1 goes deeper than the microbiome. It goes to the root of what makes the gut alive. Number 1. Triphala tea, the 3,000-year-old gut reset. Triphala is not a single herb. It is a formula, 3 fruits calibrated to each other: amalaki, bibataki, and haritaki. Prescribed in both the Karaka Samhita and the Sushruta Samhita as a rasayana, a rejuvenating tonic, Triphala has been used continuously in Ayurvedic medicine for over 3,000 years. The Ashtanga Hridaya references it for bowel regulation and gut lining repair. It was consumed daily in Ayurvedic morning protocols as a digestive drink, not occasionally, not as a rescue remedy, but as a foundational daily practice. It is arguably the first known combination therapy in the history of medicine. 3 compounds working together, each balancing the others, designed not to treat a symptom, but to rebuild the gut's function from its foundation. The active compounds include tannins, gallic acid, chebulinic acid, emblicinin A and B, and vitamin C. A 2017 randomized study found that triphala significantly improved chronic constipation compared to placebo. It has been investigated for prebiotic effects on the gut microbiome and for anti-inflammatory properties operating through the NF-kappa B signaling pathway, the same pathway implicated in inflammatory bowel conditions. Modern medicine prescribes laxatives, probiotics, and anti-inflammatories as 3 separate drugs, often from 3 separate specialists. Triphala was combining all 3 mechanisms in a single cup 3,000 years ago. Steep half a teaspoon of triphala powder in warm water for 5 to 10 minutes. Drink it on an empty stomach in the morning or before bed, the traditional Ayurvedic method. It is available as a powder, a churna, or a pre-made tea. If you have reached number 1 with me, comment Triphala below. And if you are wondering where to find it, stay for the closing. Every drink on this list existed before the word gastroenterology was ever written. Egyptian healers, Indian physicians, Chinese emperors, Caucasian mountain communities, and Greek doctors arrived at the same organs, the same compounds, and the same mechanisms through observation alone across thousands of years with no laboratories and no peer review. Modern science is now running clinical trials to confirm what they encoded into daily practice. The gut is not a modern discovery. It is an ancient map. The drinks on this list are not wellness trends. They are documented interventions tested by thousands of years of human experience before a single clinical trial existed. Subscribe for more ancient wisdom, modern proof. And tell me in the comments, which drink on this list are you starting with tonight? The answers were always in the cup. We just stopped drinking from the right ones.